Hey guys, Dustin here with Dynasty Bros, back with another Fantasy Football Economics 101. We're going to be talking again about supply and demand. This time we're going to go over the wide receiver position and what that looks like for free agency heading into the 2024, basically offseason before the season, and how that affects your dynasty. So let's start with, again, demand. Here's the guys that are going to be free agents this year, or the team's looking for wide receivers. Now, wide receiver is different than quarterback because you have wide receiver ones, wide receiver twos. We're not going to get a wide receiver threes because anybody can kind of fill that slot role or mix things. But looking for wide receiver ones, we've got the Colts, the Jaguars, Panthers, Cardinals, Giants, Patriots, all looking for that top guy. And then over here, we got teams looking for a secondary piece, a guy who can step up and be that second guy behind the number one. Bears, Bills, Bengals, Ravens, Titans, Chiefs, Falcons, Bucks, and Saints. That's our guy. So wide receiver ones, we're looking at a demand of 6. Wide receiver twos, you're looking at a demand of 9. Now, let's take a look at supply. Here's what we got. Guys that are free agents and rookies. Guys who I think can be wide receiver one still, Mike Evans, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Calvin Ridley, and rookie coming in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr. Guys who I think can be wide receiver twos on offense, Gabe Davis, Tyler Boyd, Rashid Shaheed, Darnell Mooney, Hollywood Brown, Kendrick Bourne. Now, if we're looking at it this way, what we see is our wide receivers ones, we have 5. Wide receiver twos, we have 7. So when we're looking at the wide receiver one, we got a supply of 5 minus a demand of 6 equals -1. Wide receiver twos, what happens here is what we need to do is then fill this supply to fit the demand. So we got to take one of these guys out of here. My guess is someone like Tyler Boyd or Gabe Davis are going to shift over and get wide receiver one, very much like Christian Kirk got for the Jaguars a couple years ago. So if we move one of them over, that moves us down to 6. We've got 6 minus 9. We're at -3. So how does this play out for free agency? Now, we're going to have a couple more rookies that probably slide into wide receiver 2 roles. We got the combine coming up in like 2 months. We'll see how that fills out. Maybe we get a few more here. But here's my issue. Looking at the offenses in your wide receiver 1 category, how many of them are good offenses? I think the Colts are a good offense. I think the Jags are a good offense. Panthers are not so much. Cardinals not so much. Giants definitely not. Patriots not really. So we've got 2 to really fill this role. So what we need to look at is who fills these 2? Now, could this come from free agency or the draft? My guess is the Patriots probably take Marvin Harrison at the top of the draft, and the top 3 picks is where they're going to be. So where these guys matter. Then you look at the wide receiver 2 offenses. Which ones are good? Bills, Bengals, Ravens, Chiefs. You might say the Bucks. So now you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. And you've got 6. So we're looking at now our supply changes from really 2. And we've got 5 guys. It's going to be +3. What we really have here in demand is we have a demand of, what do we say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Minus, and we've got really 6 guys there. That equals out to 0. So what does that mean for your dynasty team? If you are holding one of these guys, you need to pay really close attention to the rumors and the buzz coming out of camps. We know who T. Higgins is. He's a 1A on a team. We've seen him on the Bengals with Jamar Chase. He probably might get franchise tagged with the Bengals. His value stays the same. Where does he go? His value is pretty much equal no matter where he goes. But someone like Michael Pittman, if he's not with the Colts, what does that do to his value? He's already a value right now because he's outside the top 12, even though he's produced that the past couple of years. But if Pittman signs with the Cardinals, the Giants, the Patriots, Panthers, his value drops. Same thing with Calvin Ridley. You might be in and out of him. I think he's a borderline wide receiver 1. I think his value goes down. Mike Evans, older. He doesn't retire, but he's not going to be with the Buccaneers. 10 years of 1,000 yards. Does that continue? I think it can on the right offense. So I think his value is pretty equal. Marvin Harrison, we don't know what he's going to be. So he's the question mark. So I'm looking here. If I have Pittman and Ridley, I might want to sell them now. Sell them at wide receiver 1 prices, knowing that you're going to get wide receiver 2 production next year. Here's where we're looking at wide receiver 2s. What do we do with the Gabe Davis and Tyler Boyd? Can they be wide receiver 1s on offense? Well, here's what I'm looking at. One of these teams need to fill their roles. Let's say Giants sign Gabe Davis, has familiar with Brian Daboll. How does he fit in that offense? I think his value goes down. Now, you might be out on Gabe Davis based on his kind of boom-bust production. Maybe his value is the same. Maybe it goes down. Rashid Shaheed, great down-the-field stretcher. Can he be a true number 2 in an offense? I don't think he can. So I think his value goes down. Tyler Boyd. I love what he does in Cincinnati as that wide receiver 3. We've seen him step up when Chase and Chase and Higgins are missing. Where does he go? But if he goes to a bad offense, his value goes down. The range of outcomes for these guys' value to go up seems very slim to me because I see very few options where they're going to go up. Even if, let's say, Rashid Shaheed signs with the Bills, who we think is a good offense, is he better than Gabe Davis? Maybe, maybe not. So maybe his value stays the same. So what I'm looking at, this guy here, anybody that signs with the Colt, value goes up or stays the same. Anybody that signs with the Jags, value goes up or stays the same. Anybody signs with the Panther, value goes down. Cardinals, value goes down. Giants, value goes down. Patriots, value go down. Bears, down. Bills, probably equal. I don't think the Bills carry a second wide receiver that can really break it into the T. Higgins type role. Bengals, I think it goes up no matter what because they're going to fill that T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd role. Ravens, I think it goes up. They're lacking outside of Zay Flowers. Titans, down. Maybe it's equal. If we like Will Levis, see what they do with Hopkins. Chiefs, way up. Someone go out there next side, Rashee Rice. Falcons, depending on what they do at quarterback, I think it's down or equal. Bucks, I think it's equal because I think they can fill in. Chris Godwin steps in the 1. Saints goes down. So I'm looking at this here and going, man, there's only a few places that I see value going up. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people going up. So I have 5 where it goes up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 going down. And I only have a few, 1, 2, 3, where it's going equal. So what does that mean for me when I'm making trades right now in the offseason? I'm looking at this supply and going, this guy's probably going down unless it's the right fit and the right team. He might get tagged by the Colts. I think that's a good value. But can I trade him at his current value plus and get something else? When I come to draft picks, we know Marvin Harrison's going to be good. What do the next guys look like? Where do they fit into a team? Where do they go in an offense? We don't want someone on the Patriots. We don't want someone on the Giants. We don't want the guy on the Saints. We don't want the guy on the Falcons if they can't work out the quarterback. If they get Russell Wilson, do we really love that? So what I'm looking at here is when our supply doesn't meet the demand, someone's shifting over. Just on the basic level, we have 5, we're looking for 6. One of these guys is going to have to jump up and probably can't carry that load. So I'm selling these guys. I'm selling a Gabe Davis. I'm selling a Shaheed. I'm selling a Mooney. I'm selling a Hollywood Brown. Can't say healthy. Selling Kendrick Bourne because the whole of these don't equal the whole of demand. So supply doesn't meet the demand. What that does is certain guys' value goes up. So if you can trade a Mike Evans because people are going, hey, he's going to go somewhere and be great, go ahead and do it. If you can get his value plus, go get that. If you're in the draft and you're looking at wide receivers in your draft, in your rookie draft, if you don't get Marvin Harrison, you're getting a guy that's a wide receiver too. Let's say you get the second or third best wide receiver. What does that look like? I don't see great landing spots for wide receivers right now. So I'm selling those. So I'm looking in my draft. I'm trying to tier up to get into that top 2-3 tiers because I don't love the role that these guys plays in these offense. Free agency is going to matter. That happens before the draft. So this is why supply and demand matters for wide receivers, specifically because they have different roles. This wide receiver class, some good names, not great landing spots. We've got 1, 2, like I said, 5 landing spots that go up, 7 that go down, 3 that are equal. So even if you take the 5, that's 8 to 7. That's not great odds that your guy that you have currently is going to land in a good spot. It's about 50-50. So maybe you try to make a trade where you can trade a T. Higgins to get T. Higgins value plus because people might buy into the hype because people are expecting him to go to one of these, but maybe he goes to one of these. So as we get closer to March, as we get closer to free agency, you need to pay attention to the buzz around these guys, the rumors, listen to beat reporters when they tweet. Who are they visiting with? Where are they going? Where might they land? You might want to wait till the hype is right on these guys. That's going to be the next topic we're going to talk about later on this offseason is how do we deal with hype and those ebbs and flows in value. But right now, I'm looking at it and going, man, if I've got a wide receiver, I'm worried because if they're a free agent wide receiver, I'm worried about where they go. Now, on the converse side of that, if you have a wide receiver that isn't a free agency, if you have a Jamar Chase, you're happy because if Higgins leaves, Jamar Chase goes up. If you have a CD Lamb, you're happy because his value's there. If you have some of these young guys, let's say you have a Rashee Rice, what does his value do if the Chiefs bring in a guy? I think it stays the same. I think he's shown that he can be a solid 2 or a 1B to someone else. We'll see what happens. So if you have a wide receiver, maybe you have a glove, maybe you have Amon-Ra St. Brown and you have Puka Nacua and you have CD Lamb and you've got a Brandon Cooks, maybe you can trade one of those guys for value. When free agency happens, you can make value on those guys because you know the situation. There's so many red flags and question marks here that I'm selling a lot of these guys. I'm not sure I'm buying them right now based on what the demand looks like for wide receivers and supply. So in our dynasty teams, I'm selling wide receivers right now who are going to have question marks, and I'm buying the wide receivers that have stable situations. Guys where we know the quarterback, we know the offense, we know the coordinators, we know the coach. Those are the guys I'm buying. Amon-Ra St. Brown's, the even lower guys, Pukas, Cooper Kupps, even guys who might be out there like a Stephon Diggs, who might be a little bit older. People are crazy about Puka Nacua. I saw a poll on Twitter where it was Puka or Stephon Diggs, and it was so much more on Puka. I'll buy a Stephon Diggs because his value might go up based on the Bills not having a 2, so vacated targets. They're probably going to sign one of these guys who's less than Gabe Davis, might increase his value. So that's where we have to play supply and demand when it comes to our dynasty football teams. The economics of the NFL impacts our dynasty team. If you haven't watched the quarterback video, go back, watch that one. We break down the quarterback free agencies, how that looks for supply and demand. Keep an eye out. We'll be doing running backs and tight ends coming up, and then we'll get into some more different economic topics coming up and how that relates to fantasy football. If you follow us at Dynasty Pros, hit the like and subscribe. Hope you like these videos. Check us out for more, and see you guys.